everyone. Welcome to Campus Conversations, a podcast series that's all about MDC Padron Campus. My name is Oscar Linares, and I'm proud to be the host for this series. And today, we're going to be talking about Black History Month. We just wrapped up a wonderful month filled with activities, and I'm fortunate enough to be joined by the co-chairs of the committee, Dr. James Thomas, who is our chairperson for EdTech and Business, and Leslie Miranda, who is our Associate Dean of Faculty. I hope I got both of those titles right.
Yes.
But on top of that, you all are co-chairs of this fantastic committee. Why don't you talk a little bit about the theme for this year? Where did the theme come from? What inspired you to do the kinds of activities that you did? Which, by the way, amazing, really amazing. So why don't you share?
Yeah, I think I've been doing this now for 5 years as a co-chair with the Black History Committee. And every year it's just phenomenal. And there's a national theme that they come out with. And so we follow that theme. And we also do it across the college as well, not just at the campus. But it really is, at Padron campus, one of the premier events that occurs. And it's been well organized over the years because we have a great team of professors, administrators, and all kinds of support from everybody. So every year there's a different theme that comes out. And this year the theme was on labor, and especially how it relates to the Black population. And so I've been, in the past, the one that really has driven the schedule and bringing people in. But this year, it was really Leslie who was, I just kind of followed, because she did a phenomenal job of putting everything together and the different events that we had. And I learned a lot from some of the different events that I didn't know. And I before I hand it off to you, I just want to say one thing. I think the most important thing that we do as a college, and we bring together Black history, is to bring about so many of the things that have been hidden or not in the history books. And it behooves us to bring that to light, because so much of America is built upon these stories that have never been told. And that's always been our goal here at Padron campus through the Black History Month Committee, is to bring these stories to light so people can know the true history of what Black American history is about.
Well, definitely great job this year. I haven't been around for previous events, but the ones that I was able to attend this year were amazing. And there were some that I wasn't able to make, but I really wished I could have, because they sounded so interesting. And why don't you talk about some of the different things that happened?
Sure. So our approach to African Americans in labor was to really expose or dig deeper into different disciplines that African Americans contribute with their labor. So the arts, we did architecture, we did performing arts, visual arts. We also did agriculture, science, biology, and then history. So we had a lot of great participation from our faculty. One that sticks out to me in particular was done by Ileana Carvallosa, who's in the STEM Success Center. And she focused her presentation on George Washington Carver. And it was really impactful to me because during her presentation, she hosted this during a biology class. And she mentioned how when she was growing up in Cuba, she'd never heard of him. And then even after coming to America and living a long adult life here, she still hadn't heard of them until a couple years back. So during her presentation, which was well thought out, well organized, she actually got choked up because of his contributions. And she said, I can't believe that all these years of my life, I've never heard of this person and what he's done for us in the field of agriculture, but then also for us to even grow our population. The way he did crop rotation has made it possible for us to grow several crops and keep our human race growing in America.
That's fantastic. I was also very intrigued, and those are some of the events that I was not able to go to. But the catfish, tell me a little bit about the catfish.
All right, so this is the brainchild, and I have to give him a great shout out, Dr. Jason Claiborne, who's a biology professor. And as you know, in the Zen Garden, he has the aquaponics lab.
By the way, we have a Zen Garden here at Padron campus. If you didn't know, come on out and visit it.
And so out there, he has his aquaponics lab where he is growing or breeding. Is it breeding? Breeding catfish. And then there's also some wildlife, but then also other plants. And so it was his idea to bring about catfish as it relates to African American culture and a lot of culture with fish fries and everything as a part of fundraising for churches and movements over the years. And then Dr. Claiborne mixed in the aquaponics, the science, and then also with the side dining portions that we also offered, which were collard greens and black-eyed peas, and how integral those are to the Black community and Black culture. And he talked about how they are created, or how they're grown, and how hardy they are and how sustainable they are as produce. And so we did a demonstration a la Kitchen Stadium for you Food Network folk, where we had not only the catfish, so we actually fried the catfish live. So we had hot oil. Dr. Baez was involved in this.
She's our director of campus administration and
So
keeps
we
us
were
all in
safe.
line.
She kept us in line, so we were safe in that regard. But we also demonstrated with his students from his biology lab class. They demonstrated the preparation of the collard green, the black-eyed peas, and then also the sweet potatoes, or yams. But we don't have yams in America. They're of African origin, but we simulated with sweet potatoes.
You know, that's the one I got the most follow-up
Yes.
emails and calls. Where did that come from? I got to do that. Made the greatest impact. My favorite, I hate to say I had a favorite,
Okay.
but it really was with Dr. Inesta Lee, who talked about AI,
That was our open.
artificial intelligence, at the very beginning, because he's an intellect and he's a brain. He's smart as he can be. And he brought some things to light that were in how artificial intelligence is going to affect the future. One thing that he brought to light that in a critical thinking way that I'd never thought about before is that artificial intelligence will be affecting a lot of manual labor. Well, not manual labor, but we're going to say, I hate to use the word menial labor, but labor that's just the same thing over and over that could be done. And he brought up an interesting fact that I never thought about is what's the greatest population
Right.
and demographic in that
Yes.
in the United States, which means there's going to be a loss of jobs, which is almost like a call to action. How do we solve that? How do we fix that problem? So he brought a lot of these interesting facts up, and I thought he did a phenomenal job.
He did. He did a great job of mixing AI and what it means, and also how to use it, but then also bringing in the cultural component as to how it affects the African American population, since we're overrepresented in manufacturing and those types of jobs that are becoming automated.
So as we wrap up today's session, what was one takeaway that you had from this whole month of activities? If you had to describe it in one word, how would you put it together?
It was a refresher for me on Black history. I've learned about it my entire education, or for formal education, and just to be re-immersed in it, because I knew it, but to hear or see other people be exposed to it was really enlightening, and not just the people that I would think, like our students,
Yeah.
but like I mentioned, Ileana, like our staff, and the way that our faculty really, really punched in to bring this information to their classes. So that was really impactful. Next year, maybe not 10 events. We're achievers in that regard. But because the committee came up with such great events, we couldn't turn anyone down.
Yeah.
And you know, that's happened every year for the last at least 5 years because we have such a great team.
Yeah.
Mostly professors that are on the committee. My biggest takeaway was, thank you, Leslie.
Oh,
Because I've been driving that thing for so long.
you surely handed over.
And, you know,
Easily.
and you did better than I did. I appreciate you looking.
Well, we appreciate both of you, and we look forward to seeing what wonderful things you have for us next year. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us again. And once again, Campus Conversations, follow us. See you next time.